Okay, so first of all, let us review the format of this group discussion session. I will be providing you all a topic. You will have approximately 1 minute to think about the topic. If you want to use pen and paper to write down your thoughts, feel free to use pen and paper. And after that 1 minute, you can start straight away, or I will ask you to start. The topic for today's group discussion is: should India go completely cashless? If you have any doubts, if you need any clarification on the topic, feel free to ask me. Also, when this GD ends, we will have a short poll in order to understand who amongst you performed the best. So, all the very best. Okay, feel free to start.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to start. So basically, when we are talking about a cashless society, we are talking about a transferability from a liquid cash to a completely digital payment mode. So, according to an article that was recently published by the Business Standard Report, it said that nearly 50% of the cash society will turn into a digital payment and into a cashless society within 3 years, the coming 3 years. And when we talk about a cashless society, basically, specifically in the case of India, so it has a huge demand since we have introduced many digital modes of payment such as the UPI mode and the plastic money, the credit card, the debit card. And the UPI mode, it basically links multiple accounts into a single platform. From business to business we can do payments. So I feel if we effectively use our innovation and techniques into the digital payment arena, we can completely go ahead with it. But since we know everything has its pros and its cons, so yeah, it completely depends how we implement our technologies and how we implement our innovations, and we further go ahead with it.
So yeah, I'd like to continue on the same topic. Like, yes, India can actually go try cashless in a very less amount of time because uh, when we say cashless, the first thing which comes to mind is transparency. To me. So cashless transaction, it just means you just make sure that all your transactions, whatever you make, be it from a rupee to lakhs to crores, you are being transparent towards the government, and this would benefit the country as the taxing issues which we have right now due to cash transactions, this would be solved. Because when the transactions made amongst people is this transparent, the RBI can keep track of the flow of money and yet know that how much tax a person should pay. So and the next thing is that as a personal cashless transaction maker, I feel like using cashless modes of payment is better to keep track for me, because at the end of the day I can just go and scroll through my transaction history and see how much I've spent for the day. So as Komal have said, there are other cons as well. Like for example, if we want, we can't make transactions everywhere. Like there are places where which have very poor network. Like now in Chennai, we had the cyclone. We were not able to make any kind of non-cash payments. We were totally depending on cash, and that was actually a major issue because even ATMs were not accessible at that time. So at times of crisis, at times of domestic needs, cash do come as for help. So yeah, that's what I think, sir.
I would like to add some other points related to it. That before going cashless, Indian government needs to do a lot of homework. As I would say that being cashless is a big challenge for India, as Indian society and Indian dynamics are totally different from other developed countries. India is still in the developing phase. There is a lot of cultural, traditional, or I would say the mindset dynamics are totally different. There are rural areas as well as urban areas. I would say that cashless would be adapted quite early in urban places, but it would take a lot time to adapt in rural areas, as there is a lot dependency on technology when we talk about being cashless. There would be possibilities of technical glitches, unavailability of internet, unavailability of devices, that gadgets should be accessible to everyone to get to like become cashless society. Moreover, when we talk about that we are going cashless, there are a lot of job opportunities which are there in India due to that cash system, like ATMs and banks are running due to that cash. We go to submit, like if we want to create like if we want to do cash withdraw or whatever it is, we have to go the bank to do that. So these job opportunities will be like totally shut if we went cashless, and other maybe opportunities would be created. But first we need to think about that displacement which would be created due to that. Other than this, the security concerns which would be created due to that, because we have to we must have that kind of technical system which never get hacked or crashed anytime. So yeah, that would be like something which we need to do beforehand before going cashless.
I think as Akriti told, she told that there are other stuffs like banks which are depending on because of the cash handling and stuff. But I think the first thing is that cashless does not mean only UPI payment. We can use our debit and credit cards as well. So it's like you can go for cards as well. Even cards does not require much of a technical training stuff, because going cashless does not mean you have to use a digital device always on your a handheld device always. You can go with cards as well. ATM cards are quite easy, just go swipe, put your 4-digit pin. It's as easy as that. But as Akriti said, security is a very serious concern, because a recent hackathon which I had participated, we cracked through Airtel's payment bank. We cracked through their systems and made a transaction worth rupees 12,000 at rupees 1. We just paid 1 rupee for the entire 12,000 rupees transaction. So cybersecurity experts always do say that Airtel and Paytm, both of these transaction streams have a very, I would say, weak framework. But Google Pay, on the other hand, Google Pay, PayPal have a very strong framework of security. So it is a very serious concern when we take about the security matters. We have to just make sure that the stream of banks or the service providers which we choose are very much reliable and are totally on the track, and they know the path very well. Because if they are new to the path, there are a lot of possibilities where they could go wrong. So we should make sure that this is a beaten path for them, and thus they can give us the maximum service, maximum service opportunities with the maximum security.
Also, I'd like to add the credibility of the cash payment, the cashless payment system. Basically, the government will be more accountable, and we there will be more transparency that would be created. Plus also there would be less pressure on the Reserve Bank of India, because they have to print money, so they have to there is a flow of liquid money in the in the society. So of course there would be less pressure on the RBI. But I also, yeah, also there would be benefits in the international trade, like people can easily carry out the international trade. They don't have to they do not require any mediator, so that digital payment source will actually act as that mediator further on. But yeah, there are also certain disadvantages of this. Since we have talked about the cyber security threats, there are so many cyber security frauds, that online payment fraud basically, and they are emerging. There are new forms of cyber security fraud that are coming, and we as market consumers are seeing it. And I feel, if I feel, say the statistic, it's like on an average every day an Indian consumer loses 15,000, average on 15,000 of his money on the online payment fraud. So yeah, so we can say there was also a step taken by our government, Narendra Modi's government, that was of demonetization. Basically, demonetization aimed at reducing the black money flow in the currency. He The government asked people to completely become cashless, right? So depend on the online digital payments and everything. But I also feel that if we are heading towards a cashless society, we have to take care. The modus operandi that we should follow for becoming a cashless society has to be slow and steady. And yes, it should we should take care of all the cybersecurity frauds, and yes, we should be more comprehensive about the ways we move ahead with.
I think I might have to go a bit against what Komal said right now, because demonetization, according to me, was not a good move, because it just made things even easier for people to just, for example, there were two bundles of 1,000 rupees note. Now it was you can put it in one 2,000 rupees bundle, which is more worth. And at last he banned 2,000 again. It was such a, I don't know
Yeah,
what he. First thing is that paper waste. Now all these papers are waste. I don't know these guys are going to recycle it or not. Second thing, this caused a lot of change in the currency value. It caused a lot of hassle among the public, general public, because at the first level of demonetization, every one of us were flooded to banks just to exchange our notes, because all of us we were having a lot of fluid, like solid state currencies with us, 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees. My mom still carries a thousand
yeah.
rupee note.
But
So
I'll
the thing
also
is that,
like to
yeah,
add
sure.
one more point over here, that demonetization actually initiated and fueled the digital payment aspect in our country. So yeah, you may go on. Yeah.
So yeah, at the end, because we have run back to the basics again, he could have just, just took off the 1,000 rupee domination, and it could have been far more easier. So let's not get to demonetization, because this is not the topic for us. The thing is that, when we talk about, what do you call, the value of currency today, as of today, the value of Indian rupee is 84 rupees. And I feel that, in US dollars, for one US dollar is 84 rupees. This is the conversion rate today. So according to me, this is a very high rate, because first thing which causes this is corruption, the corruption which is because of the black money flow. And most of it is because of the solid cash which is circulating amongst countries. So the first thing which would be affected positively would be the value of the Indian rupee. This would have us a better opportunities and a better conversion rate at foreign countries, and thereby affecting our economy in a very positive way. And we can get, when we are talking about many such countries, whereas like we are paying GSTs at a very high rate and still not getting much of the government facilities at its best quality, when taxing happens in such a way that this is so straightforward and transparent, we can very well assure that the government will provide us the best of quality of services as public services, like free medical facilities, free education, where Singapore is giving something like these. This is because the taxing and the cash flow there is very transparent. It is not that the corruption is less. It is because they have handled the situation quite well there. So I think cashless payment would help us improve the entire economy of the country, as well as the lifestyle of an average Indian person living.
So I would like to add, of course, by this cashless payment, uh, the black money will, of course, will be reduced, and the informal sector's job will, yeah, it will, it will be go away. So, but at the same time, my opinion is that if the India will move towards the cashless economy, then the jobs in various fintech startups and various financial technologies will rise above. So first, as you all guys said, digital payment solutions, the launching fintech startups focusing on peer-to-peer lending, and what we say robo advisories and other innovative financial services. So this is one of the very big advantage, I would say. Um so the platforms for crowdfunding on or the micro investing to encourage the financial inclusion. So this is one more other advantage. And you guys also said that the about the cyber security. So that so the cyber security services, the jobs in cyber security, it will also rise. Educating the users. So e-commerce platforms will be benefited from this, and of course the blockchain and cryptocurrency. Yeah, so these are some of the advantages. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the Pranav went a bit technical and economical in the aspect. I'd like to make it a bit, deeper level, a societal level, how this would impact our society, basically the rural areas that, we have seen, since we have a huge rural population who's based, the farmers who are illiterate, they do not have any financial literacy, right? So they are easily exploited by the landlords. They are completely poised into the debt trap easily, right? The lands are taken away and everything. So if we provide our farmers with a financial literacy, right, financial knowledge, and if we set up financial awareness centers for them so that they can easily get more productive further on, if you also make them understand how they can better use their technology that have been provided to them, the payment system, digital payment system that have been provided to them, then that will be a security for them. There would be less liquid cash flow that they have to go on, and they'll be feeling more secure about that. Further on, if I talk about being a completely cashless society, I am not completely towards that point that India should be a completely 100% cashless society. There has to be some cash that we have to keep with ourselves, because we are a very, it will take everything happens from a slow pace, and we just cannot transfer ourselves from a completely cash society to completely digital and cashless society. So yes, everything happens in a slow pace, and we just want a secure innovation and a profound technology that would help us in further moving on and getting the credibility in this.
Okay. So sorry to interrupt, but I have to put a hard stop. Let's conclude or summarize this group discussion session. Any one of you would like to put forward your conclusion?
So can I try?
Sure.
Okay, so taking all the points which we have discussed so far, I'd like to conclude that no such society can go entirely cashless in a very short period of time, and it requires a country's own pace, its development rate, and everything, so as to take this cashless mode of payment to take into account. So the thing is that we can conclude that going towards a cashless society needs much more maturity and technical literacy so as to proceed towards it.
Okay. Great. Awesome, all of you. Now let me put forward a small poll just to make it a little bit more competitive. Let me launch the poll. Okay. I think each one of you have voted. Now let me end this poll and show you the result. I think for all of you, it was quite new. So it doesn't matter what the result is. Basically, the learning curve is what really matters in the longer run. So just make sure that your learning curve is like a linear graph, or if possible, if it is like an exponentially increasing graph, that's the best case. Now let's move forward to our check-in meeting.